Arne Slots just finished his press conference, and here are the main talking points. It's quite a lot to talk about, so bear with me. Start with injuries as always. So Joe Gomez is going to be out for a few weeks at least, but Kanate and Bradley are both back into training with the full team today. That doesn't mean they're necessarily going to make the game for Sunday, but at least they're back in training now. So the only injury we currently have, he said, is Gomez. He didn't mention Chiesa or where he was at. He was asked a lot of questions about Trent. So he was asked, have you spoken to Trent since the Real Madrid offer came in? He said, yes, I've spoken to him. He said, what did you speak about? He said, I'm not going to tell you what I spoke to him about it, but I can tell you he will be playing on Sunday. He is committed to winning with this team, but I won't be telling you any more than that. He was asked if he thinks that offers like that from big clubs will unsettle the players, and he basically said that if that was the case, he would have unsettled players all the time, because nearly every player in Liverpool's squad is linked with some other team at some occasion or not. When you get to this level, that you have to get used to those sort of pressures, and he feels like this team can deal with it. He was asked if Trent can raise his game at all, if he's that good, can he get any better? And he said that there's always room for improvement. Even Salah, he watched the West Ham game back again in the week, and he noticed Salah shaking his head at himself when he came off at half-time, even though we were already 3-0 up, and that's because he was disappointed he'd missed a couple of chances. He said Trent, he thinks his defending has gone up a level this season, but he still thinks there are games where he could do better in defending and attacking. He was asked about Verge. He basically said that, Verge, it's 7 years to the day on Sunday will be when he had his debut game against Everton, I think it was, where he scored. What can you say about him? Slot was like, it's a long list. But he said his game management, his thinking on the ball, his speed, his strength, his defending. He said the way that he can hold up the ball and he can wait till the last minute to make those passes. He said that as soon as he blows his whistle at training, or as soon as the whistle blows at the 90th minute, you can hear Verge shouting straight away. He says he's just a complete player and he's absolutely fantastic. He was asked if he thought Salah was the best player in the world right now, and he said, well, the problem is when you think about stuff like that is you always think of attackers, and if you're thinking of attackers, then Salah is at the moment one of the best, if not the best in the world, if you look at his numbers. He said, but himself, if you look at every position, then Verge must be up there as well, because he must be the best centre-back in his position at the moment. He was asked about if he was Amorim, would he change his system, and he basically said that you've got to try and focus on performances. He said if you actually watch their games, they've had good moments in all of their performances. He said the second half against Newcastle, they were actually pretty good. It's just they had a really bad first half. And he said, and that's what I would suggest, because they're good enough managers themselves. They don't need my opinions, but as you've asked me, I would tell them to focus on their performances. He was actually asked if he was rest players against United, and he laughed it off, and he said it's one of the biggest games of the season. They're not a terrible side. They've got a fantastic squad. Their results will turn up, but Amorim just hasn't had very many games with him, and they need to give him time. He thinks it's going to be a really tough game, and we've got to play the best we can to beat them. That was about it, to be fair. A really interesting one. There was a lot of really good questions, I thought, in there. It's an odd one with United. Really, if they play like they did against Newcastle, will be 4-5-0 probably. I can't see in any way in this world that Amorim will play attackive three at the back football against Liverpool at Anfield. I think he'll play three at the back, but I think he'll play a defensive block. I think he'll try and do what Forest did. I think they will try and counter-attack us. This game brings up a couple in my mind. No one gave Man United a chance against City in the FA Cup final. They won that. No one gave us a chance against United a few seasons ago, and we won 7-0. Form sometimes goes out the window in these games. I know it seems crazy, but let's not get complacent. Let's not get overconfident. They are still a good side. Having said all of that, I'm going to say that I predict we'll win 3-0. Let me know what you think. Please follow, please like, please repost. Come on, you Reds.